Hi there. Welcome. My name is Mark Lukasiewicz. I'm Dean of the Herbert School of Communication here at Hofstra University, and welcome to Studio B. I wish we could greet you here in person, as we like to do, but given the circumstances we're all living through right now, and we're going to get through them, we're going to do this virtually today. So I want to give you an introduction to our school, why I think our school might be the best school for you, and why I hope you'll join us. So let's start with a little video that shows you what we do and who we are here at the Herbert School. Parents and students often ask what sets the Herbert School apart, and there are a number of things. Our production facilities here are extraordinary. First of all, this great big studio, one of very few studios this size anywhere near New York City. Students work in here every day with 4K cameras with the Avid Unity editing system, tremendous facilities for television, our radio station. Students are stepping foot in a radio station that's just been digitally updated. So for podcasting, for radio transmission, they're working in an environment that looks exactly like commercial and public radio stations all across the country.
Action!
In our film program, we have a post-production facility where students can do detailed color correction, massaging the content of film production, and a Foley lab for sound effects. These are tools and assets and techniques they'll be working with in the real world of film production. They have it here at the school.
So we're going to make a package.
Our journalism and public relations programs are both accredited programs. Not every school has accredited programs in those two disciplines, and we do.
One, ready, my cue.
Going to school is not just about what you learn, it's about what you do. Our faculty here are extraordinary. They're scholars and they're practitioners. They're working in the field, up to date on the latest techniques, up to date on how media is changing. They make our students appreciate the long history of media and how the core elements of storytelling and narrative fit into the work they're doing. When people come out of school to go into work in the media profession, they're expected to have something to show for their time in school. What work have they done? And we give our students tremendous opportunities to do that. A vitally important aspect of the Lawrence Herbert School is how we let students get to work the minute they get here, to get their hands on equipment, to work in facilities like this, to create television and film and radio storytelling as much as they can, to take what they learn in the classroom and bring it to life on their own terms. And there's never been a better place to do it than right here at the Herbert School. So that's just a quick idea of what we have to offer here and why I think the school might be a terrific fit for you. But let me take you through some things in a little more detail about why our school sets itself apart from some other schools. So let's start with the fact that we have media in all its forms here. Whether it's film or television or radio or journalism, sports media, public relations, media studies, all of that is here in the building. The ability to do it and study it is all together. That's not true of every institution. Some schools, film is off in the fine arts department, or public relations might be off in the business school. Having it all together lets you get a very well-rounded education in media, lets you pick which form of media is really right for you. Where does your storytelling passion fit best? Second thing is our equipment. We really do have state-of-the-art studios, equipment, editing rooms. I've been in the broadcasting business for a long time. I've studied the film business and the audio business. I was a print journalist at one time. Our equipment, our facilities is really first rate. The software you'll be using, the hardware you'll be using, studios like this one, is state-of-the-art, and you'll be equipped to graduate from here and go into a working newsroom or a film studio or a post-production studio or whatever it might be, or a public relations agency, and be familiar with the tools that you'll need to use. And the third thing, which we mentioned earlier, is that we believe in a hands-on philosophy. That's not true of every school of communication. Some schools emphasize a purely classroom experience for the first 2 years and move into production later. We believe in an experiential learning philosophy from the get-go, and as soon as you're able to create content, we want you to start doing that. Our programs are truly innovative. We teach all the basics, all those core storytelling skills. Writing is hugely important, but we have a great sports media program. We have writing for television and film with 2 super faculty members who teach those things. We have an immersive media program starting to come out with AR and VR. We try to keep up with what's happening. This industry is changing faster than any industry probably on the planet, but we're doing well keeping up and staying on the cutting edge of what that means. So perhaps you want to be in the film business, for example. Well, this is a film that was produced that won awards, Love After Love, with Andy McDowell and Chris O'Dowd, two actors you may be familiar with. It was written and directed by Russ Harbaugh, who is a professor here, a professor of screenwriting. You can study with him if you want to learn the art of screenwriting. Perhaps you want to talk about social media, hugely important field in all communications now. We have one of the world experts, Cara Alaimo, is a professor here. She's written about the differences in global media, global social media, and how it's different from one culture to the other. A hugely important thing to understand. She teaches here. Our radio station is another huge asset, and when you do come here, I hope you will explore it. We have one of the best student radio stations in the country. It's won 3 out of the last 5 years as the top college radio station by the National Association of Broadcasters. It's called the Marconi Award. And by the way, if you're interested in sports or sports media, it's the only student-run radio station in the country that has a professional sports franchise. We handle the New York Islanders hockey broadcasts. If you listen to the New York Islanders games on the radio anywhere in the world, you're listening to work happening from our radio studios right down the hall here from Studio B. We believe all of our faculty need to be scholars, but they also need to be in touch with the industry. And so you will be working with people who are directors and producers and authors and influencers. They spend their time working one-on-one and in small groups with our students to really pass on their experience, to pass on their knowledge, to pass on the principles of great communication. Internships are another huge part of what we do. 91% of our school graduates participate in an internship, and on average, I think this number has actually gone up now, it's close to 3 full internships per student here at the school. So if you want an internship experience, we have staff dedicated to trying to make that happen for you. Our proximity to New York City is a huge advantage, of course, because of all the big media companies that are represented there, along with great broadcast networks, music companies, public relations agencies. Our students get to pursue internships year-round, which isn't true of other institutions where you really have to confine those to summer or school break periods. These are just some of the brands that have hosted our interns over the past few years. It really is an astonishingly successful part of what we do. Again, part of that philosophy of experiential learning. We make sure these internships have meaning, that there's a real learning component to it, and that our students get valuable experience and valuable contacts to pursue that. This is an important number I'm sure every parent watching now will want to know about, but it's really true. 90% of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication graduates are hired within 6 months of graduation. And part of the reason for that is we have a fantastic alumni network. We have alumni in all of the media industries, and particularly in New York and Los Angeles, we have very strong alumni groups. We visit with them, they visit with us, they come into our classes either virtually or in person, and we do a lot to facilitate contacts between our students and potential mentors from the alumni ranks who now are across the industry. These are just some of the companies where our alumni now work in senior positions. And part of my job as dean is to stay in touch with those alumni to make sure they stay connected to the school, which I'm happy to tell you the vast majority of them are eager and willing to do. 98% of our graduates today are either working or in grad school or both. So our students find enormous success in the industry. We work hard at setting them up for that, and they get there. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I spent about 40 years in the news business, first as a print journalist, then as a broadcast journalist, both at ABC News and at NBC News. I came here about 1.5 years ago, so I'm a sophomore, but I'm enjoying it immensely and enjoying the opportunity I have to give back some of what I've learned to the students here at the Herbert School. This is our online address, and given that we're meeting virtually, it's really important that you take that down, hofstra.edu/Herbert. And I hope you'll reach out there, look for the information there, reach out to us directly. These are our social media handles, and again, if you contact us through any of those, and by the way, I am Dean Luke, so that's ampersand at DeanLuk. You can reach out to me on Twitter or on any social media, and I'll be happy to respond to you. So I hope that gives you some idea of the academic programs we have to offer across our departments and across all the programs we offer. It really is a great program. But as I mentioned, part of what we do here, an important part of what we do here, is the hands-on work of creating your own story. Now, I wish we could welcome you in person for a tour of Herbert Hall. We can't do that right now, so we're going to do a little bit of a virtual tour, and I want you to follow me. Now, obviously, we're in a time when we have to be careful about all that hands-on work. And as we prepare for that situation, we're taking care to be prepared. We're all going to be using masks inside this building whenever we're around other people. We're going to be using gloves where appropriate. And we're going to be following that New York State guideline of a 6-foot distance to make sure that we stay properly separated so we're all safe in this time of the coronavirus. I'm going to go into the building now, and it's empty, so I'm not going to be needing to wear a mask, and Brian, my cameraman, and I are staying more than 6 feet apart. But I want to show you what we have to offer, so come on inside the Herbert School. So let me first show you our little trophy case here. It's got a big 25 because we are celebrating our 25th anniversary as a communication school. You'll see the Emmy Award. We have literally dozens of Emmy Awards among our staff and faculty. We have the books down below that are just some of the books published by our faculty and scholars. And over here, we're very proud of this. This is 3 Marconi Awards. The Marconi Award is given for the best college radio station in the country by the National Association of Broadcasters. That's a professional group competing with other professional groups. 3 out of the last 5 years, our radio station has won that very prestigious award, and we're very, very proud of it. And let me show you the radio station, actually, as we begin our tour here at the Herbert School. So, and I should mention Brian Potts and his student aide Raj are with us shooting this. And Brian, if you can pan over, this is the WRHU newsroom where students gather every day to produce a morning show every weekday, to produce a news program in the afternoon, sports shows, music shows, public service shows, community programming. That's all done out of this newsroom in these studios. And we have 3 radio studios, a mixed site, and then 2 proper studios. Let's walk in and have a look at one of those as I talk about it, because this isn't just for radio students. The radio station is the biggest student media organization at the school. It involves students from all across Hofstra because it's a tremendous fun experience and a tremendous learning experience for organizing work and for managing broadcasting in all its forms. So this is the first studio, and Brian, maybe you can swing around over to that side and I'll keep talking as we talk about the equipment in here. So the morning show is produced in here, the sports program is produced in here, Newsline every afternoon is produced in here, and they use some of the finest equipment available. We updated the radio station a year and a half ago to fully digital equipment, and it is extremely up to date. The equipment that these students use is the same they'll use recording podcasts or audio programming or doing film sound out in the real world. So it's a tremendous asset for the students to be able to use this. And we do a tremendous amount of programming in here, and the students love it. So WRHU, open to all students across Hofstra to apply to. You can apply now to join the station. You just go to their website. It's really one of the best things going here at the Herbert School. The audio radio students do get involved in this, and they get to use yet another facility. And Brian, maybe you'll follow me around this way, and we'll go over to our audio classroom. Because audio work is really very important in all the media industries these days. So we'll swing across the hall to our audio radio classroom, which is right over here. And Brian, maybe again, if you can swing around me to show some of the equipment. This is equipped with Pro Tools. So that's one of the top, in fact, the top software for audio production in film particularly, but also in music. This is the classroom where students learn how to use those tools with this equipment. And through the window there to Brian, to your left, you'll see a mixed studio where we can bring in bands, we can bring in speakers, and the students can really learn and practice multi-track recording, multi-track audio production, all in this facility. You'll see a lot of Macs around. The Macs are all updated regularly, and this building is fully equipped with both Mac and PC labs to do the various parts of work that the students need to do. Okay, let's keep going on this night, day at the Herbert School tour. We're going to head out into the hallway here and talk a little bit about our journalism, media studies, and public relations department. So that's one of the two departments in the school. This wall celebrates the work of the journalism students who do a variety of kinds of work on a variety of platforms. These are some of the pictures that celebrate that. This is one of my favorites. We did a big project for the midterm elections called Hofstra Votes Live. We're going to be doing another project like that for the fall presidential election. This is a trip to New York that happens every summer with mostly public relations students, but also journalism and media studies students. Here you can see one of our radio stations interviewing a New York Islander, because I forgot to mention this at the radio station. Sports is a big part of the radio station. Sports journalism is a big part of our school. The radio station is the only college radio station in the country that handles a professional sports franchise. So anywhere in the world, if you're listening to the New York Islanders on the radio, you're listening to a broadcast being produced out of that room by our students. It's a very unique opportunity for students to get involved in professional broadcasting at the highest level. This is the news hub, and let me walk you in here. This is our multimedia newsroom. We do journalistic work here. We do classes and guest speakers in here. This became our decision desk and newsroom for the election in 2018 and will be again in 2020. This was updated a number of years ago. We have all the equipment, all the space here to do a whole variety of media work as the media universe evolves in all kinds of new directions. So we're very proud of this space. It also tends to be a student lounge, honestly, where students get together and work on their projects, and they like being here. So we're delighted to have this space for them. So let's move on. I should mention in the public relations program also this year, for the first time, we have a student-run public relations agency. It's called the Swing Agency. It opened this year. It does real public relations work for real clients out in the world, and it's an entirely student-run operation. We're going to walk down this hallway to a wall that celebrates our travel and study away programs. Now, obviously, in the current situation, those programs can't happen, but we're very hopeful that those will get underway again. We have, for the school itself, in addition to other programs at the university, we have a program in Rome every summer, a program in Cuba during the winter, a program in Los Angeles every winter, and a summer program in New York City where students go and live in Manhattan for a week. As I said, those are suspended for the time being, but we're very hopeful of getting those going again. The students have a tremendous experience doing that, and as communications gets global, we need to be celebrating that. This is one of my favorite parts of the school. It's a motto that says, "Great stories happen to those who tell them." This is a school of storytelling, and that's what we're about here, and we like students to see that as much as possible. If you walk over this way, I talked a little bit about the student media operations we have. Every one of these tiles on this wall represents a student media production of some sort, whether it's a newspaper, a website, a club, a television program, a film festival. All of this is student-operated, student-run. We believe tremendously in you getting a chance to make media and tell stories here, and our student organizations step up to give you that opportunity. So let's walk down this way and show you our equipment room. We've talked about the fact that the school really thrives on student production, students telling stories. This is the equipment room that houses all the equipment, and Brian can show you that they do that with, whether it's the Ursa Mini or the television, the Panasonic, primarily television cameras. We also have 3 ARRI Alexa cameras, which are brand new, and that is the premier film camera in the world right now. And 80% of Oscar productions have been produced with that camera. We have those cameras for our students here. So we're very proud of that. Let's walk you to one of our studio spaces. So this is Studio A. Come on in here, Brian, and let's show folks this studio. We're very proud of this. This is 3,800 square feet, 3 stories tall. This is as big as the biggest studio available in the CNN complex worldwide. Our students get to work in a space like this, and it's tremendously well equipped. If you look over here, you'll see the television cameras, which we use for multi-camera productions. They're all 4K HD cameras. We also have a jib over here, which Brian can show you. A jib is becoming a standard piece of equipment in a lot of television studios. Our students get to work with that. And you'll see here one of the several sets under construction that our students are going to be using for film production. So there are film productions in here, there are multi-camera live television productions in here, all sorts of projects can happen in this space. And this is just one of 3 studios we have in this building. It's unusual to have a space this size for students to be able to work with, and we're very proud that they get that chance, that you will get that chance in this facility. So let's go to another studio, which is just across the hall, and I'll take you to that. That's Studio B. You can walk this way, Brian and Raj. We'll take you through here. So this is Studio B. Studio B is mainly used for our news and information and talk programming. And we just renovated it this January. Again, we're very proud of this spot. This is where Hofstra News Now is produced. This is where Hofstra Today is produced. This is where Sports Beat is produced. And any other productions the students want to do, either in their classwork or extracurricular work. Boy, I got that word wrong. Extracurricular work. This is a modern news and information and television production facility. Whether it's the screens behind me or the desk in front of me or all the technology that powers this room, students get a real-world experience by working in here in real production situations. And this is another part of the resources of the school. And as I say, this is just the second of 3 studios. We're not going to have time to show you the third, which is primarily used for film. So a little bit further here, we'll take another bit of a walk. We're almost done. We're not able to show you the classrooms because we want to try to keep this relatively brief for you. I do want to mention as we walk along this wall, this is my advisory board. Having active alumni and having people really willing to support the school who are in the profession already is a tremendously important part of what we do. And we have a great set of people, whether it's Steveland Wilson. Steveland is the founder of Line 9 Productions. He is now the vice president of production at the XFL. He's the chair of my board. Eric Lempel here, who is the West Coast chair of my board, because we have a lot of people on the West Coast, basically runs PlayStation worldwide. So we have a tremendous set of alumni and supporters who help our students and help our faculty make sure that our curriculum is relevant to what's going on in the world. You've seen the 2 studios. Let me show you one of the 2 control rooms. Each studio has its own control room. You're going to hear the noise of the equipment a little bit here, Brian, but I'll try to speak up. But this is a first-rate, professional-grade, modern control room where students will learn how to produce multi-camera television with the graphics that go with it, with all the control equipment. There's an audio booth that goes with this as well. Every room has its own audio control. And whether you as a student intend to sit at a console like this as part of your career, whether or not that's your plan, knowing how this works, knowing how it affects the creative process, knowing what's possible with equipment like this is a big part of the advantage we think we can deliver to you here at the Herbert School. So this board gets very busy, particularly in the spring semester, as all of our students are doing their final productions. So let's keep walking, Brian. And we'll take you down this way. Another control room here, that's for the Studio B control, similar thing. And the audio room next to it. Again, we talked about those audio skills elsewhere. That all comes into play here. So we're going to go upstairs now. Just climb one flight of stairs to see a couple of other things I think you ought to see. But on the way, I do want to point out this internship board. Every brand on this wall represents a place that one of our students has interned in the last year or 2. Our average student does 3 internships in the course of their career here. Some do many more than that. And all of these companies host our interns. We're very proud of our internship program. We have resources devoted to making sure we can get meaningful internships going for all of our students who want them. And this is a representation of just some of those experiences that our students have. Okay, Brian, let's head upstairs. We're going to try walking upstairs with the camera going. That'll be fun. As we walk upstairs, we're going to be going to a film finishing facility. You know, a lot of people think that what happens in film basically happens in the camera. But in fact, some of the most important work that happens in making a movie is post-production. And we have a very good facility for post-production. So our students not only get to work with professional grade equipment in the field, and after they've written their screenplays, but they get to post-produce the film to a high degree of professionalism. So here are some shots of just some of our student filmmakers doing their student films over the last little few years. And as you can see, they're sophisticated productions. In their senior capstone films, they tend to hire actors, hire locations, really make it count. But they have to post-produce all that footage, and they do that in here. So let's go inside. And this is our film finishing lab. And Brian's going to adjust the lighting because it's intentionally quite dim in here. But basically what happens in here is student filmmakers are able to use this facility and this console of equipment to color correct and to audio mix their film. It's a very important part of the process. There are chairs here so that their fellow producers, their directors of photography, their lighting director, the director of the film, they can all be in one room polishing the work that they see on the screen. A big part of the polishing is creating the audio, because the audio to a film often isn't recorded out in the field where it happens. So maybe somebody threw a rock in a film. You need to duplicate that sound. You do that in a space like this. This is a Foley lab. The Foley lab allows the student editor to display the film over here on a monitor, and then they use the sound effect tools available in this room to create that sound effect. So they would watch that piece of film, and at the moment that the rock needs to be thrown, they'd throw the rock, record the sound, mix it into the movie. All sorts of sound effects available here, from fabrics to crunchy materials to slippery materials. This is a Foley audio lab. It exists in every film post-production house in the world, not in every communication school, but here at the Herbert School we do have it, and it gets very busy. One more thing I want to show you, and then our tour will be complete. Our facility allows for video and film editing in two formats, Adobe Premiere and Avid. Those two tools are available across the enterprise, and we have two big labs where we teach that editing, and this is one of them. This is our Avid Edit Lab. So film students and television students learn in one of these two rooms how to use their editing equipment with a professor who's expert in that art. And they can spend as much time as they like in here after hours and in individual edit suites, learning how to edit their films, learning how to post-produce the content they need. So that concludes our tour of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you saw all we have to offer, both in our programs and in our facilities and equipment. You know, before we leave, I have to answer one question that I always get, which is, what's with all these chips, these color chips all over the building? Well, those are Pantone chips. They're part of the Pantone color coding system, which revolutionized printing and textiles back in the 1960s. And that entire system was invented and developed by Lawrence Herbert himself, who remains very active in our school. I talk to him frequently. He's a big booster of our programs here, just so you know what Chippy is all about. One more thing, we have this terrific view book of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication. If you would like a copy, it's available on our website, hofstra.edu/Herbert, called the View Book, but we can also mail you one. So reach out to me if you'd like to get a copy of this. It really takes you through everything you need to know about the Herbert School and its programs. Please follow us on social media, at Herbert School HU, or you can reach out to me. I'm at Dean Luke on all social media. You can direct message me. I'll be happy to respond. I hope you enjoyed the tour again, and please reach out if you have any questions. We look forward to welcoming you in person here at the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication at Hofstra University.
Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro Studio.
WRHU.
Hempstead.
You discovered.
A cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WRHU.
I promise that you'll never find another like me. I know that I'm a handful, baby. I know I never think before I jump. And you're the kind of guy the ladies want. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there. I know that I went psycho on the phone. I never leave well enough alone. And trouble's gonna follow where I go. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there. But one of these things is not like the others. Like a rainbow with all of the colors. Baby doll, when it comes to a lover, I promise that you'll never find another like me. I'm the only one of me. you like me.
I know I tend to make it about me. I know you never get just what you see, but I will never bore you, baby.
And when we had that fight out in the rain, you ran after me and called my name.
I never wanna see you walk away, 'cause one of these things is not like the others. Living in winter, I am your summer. Maybe dull when it comes to a lover. I promise that you'll never find another like me. I'm the only one of me. Let me keep you company. You're the only one of you. Baby, that's the fun of you.
And I promise that nobody's gonna love you like me.
Hey kids,
Spelling is fun,
girl, there ain't no I-N-T.
but you know there is a me.
Strike the band of 1, 2, 3.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
Girl, there ain't no I-N-T.
But you know there is a me.
You can't spell awesome without me.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
I'm the only one of me. Baby, that's the fun of me. You're the only one of you. Baby, that's the fun of you.
And I promise that nobody's gonna love you like me.
Girl, there ain't no I-N-T.
But you know there is a me.
I'm the only one of me. Baby, that's the fun of me. Strike the band of 1, 2, 3.
You can't spell awesome without me.
You're the only one of you. Baby, that's the fun of you.
And I promise that nobody's gonna love you like me.
Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro Studio,
WRHU.
Hempstead,
You discovered
a cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WRHU.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Woo, child, tired of the foolish. Gone, dust your shoulders off. Keep it moving, yes, Lord. Step into some new kicks. In there, swimwear, going to the pool quick. Come now, come dry your eyes. You know you a star, you can touch the sky. I know that it's hard, but you have to try. If you need advice, let me simplify. If he don't love you anymore, just walk your fine self out the door. I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good as hell. Baby, how you feeling? Woo, girl, need to kick off your shoes. Gotta take a deep breath, time to focus on you. All the big fights, long nights that you've been through. I got a bottle of tequila I've been saving for you. Boss up and change your life. You can have it all, no sacrifice. I know we did you wrong, we can make it right. So go and let it all hang out tonight. 'Cause he don't love you anymore. So walk your fine self out the door. And do your hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? And we gon' be all hair talk, check
Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro Studio.
WWRHU.
Hempstead.
You've discovered
A cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WWRHU.
Hey, hey, hey. Your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brains. I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went and let you blow my mind. Your sweet moonbeam, the smell of you in every single dream I dream. I knew when we collided, you're the one I have decided who's one of my kind. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio? Stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, hey, hey. Just in time. I'm so glad you have a one-track mind like me. You gave my life direction, a game show love connection we can't deny. I'm so obsessed. My heart is bound to beat right out my untrimmed chest. I believe in you like a virgin, young Madonna, and I'm always gonna wanna blow your mind. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio? Stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. The way you can cut a rug, watching you's the only drug I need. So gangsta, I'm so thug, you're the only one I'm dreaming of. You see, I can be myself now finally. In fact, there's nothing I can't be. I want the world to see you be with me. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio? Stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, hey, tonight.
Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro Studio.
WWRHU.
Hempstead.
You've discovered
A cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WWRHU.